Well, good morning, everybody. It is 9:01, so we'll get going on this. I did prepare, a 30-minute message that I'm going to try and deliver in 10 minutes. Oh, I'm going to need that in a second. It goes something like this. In 2007, probably while I was chair of the board, we as a school achieved a Best Christian Workplace score that was the lowest score that they had seen from like schools like us. Yes, we earned it. And some of you remember that. And then we arrived, Elaine and I arrived in 2010. And I remember feeling this enormous urgency in my heart to pray for Harmony. And some of you will remember that, because we had to do a lot of tough work. It was called restructure. It was called reduce our overhead. At one point, I saw a payroll list that had 186 names on it, and we now stand somewhere around 85 or 90. Let me say this on the back of that. Every person in this room is really important. We need every one of you. Your job security is through the roof. But back then, at 185, 86 people on payroll, it was a tough 2 years we had in front of us. And we needed to do that reduction, and we did. By about a year later, 18 months later, we were at about 90 people on payroll. And that's where we've been for the last 10 or 11 years, 12 years. But we did it, and we needed to do it with Harmony because of that amazing message that Jesus had of love one another. And Paul repeated in Galatians and Romans, and you know all the different passages. We have to learn to live together. This is our best testimony to our neighbors. This is the testimony that Jesus came from the Father. And we were going through all this difficult restructuring, cutting programs, reducing payroll, eliminating overhead. What we did in the midst of all of that was we talked about what the problems were, and every person in this room who was here then, some of you were a little lazy, came a little late, but every person in this room helped us get there. If we needed to cut costs, every one of you leaned in and helped us. That is amazing, and therefore we've had 10 years of reasonable financial health, good health. In 2011, I added this urgency in my heart about prayer. We need to be together in prayer, and so we turned up the Bunsen burner on that test tube. And now you all know our weekly prayer is, in some of your cases, I've heard you say, best time of the week, most precious time, and we get together. And I love the fact that we've gone into COVID and our prayer attendance has gone up. Now, it's easier. I know some of you are in your bathtubs, in your pajamas, but you're there in prayer. And then in about 2012, and Glenn will know this a little better than I, but by now, Glenn and I had become connected at the hips, and we wore out the carpet between our office, but somewhere in there, we turned up our focus on Bible so that we moved to this 4 Old Testament courses and 3 New Testament courses and put them into the core. And around that, we found Harmony again. Massive change, massive step, I think, into being countercultural and revolutionary, actually, in the business of academia. So Harmony, prayer, Bible. In 2015, back to the topic at hand, we scored 4.01 on our Best Christian Workplace score. Somewhere between 2012 and 2015, we had an alumni reunion where the alumni were back and they were telling me how great times were when they were here in the 60s or 70s, and I was like, yeah, that might be selective recall, but I'll give it to you. In other words, those times weren't all that great in every way, but in their minds, they were the golden years. However, I did feel I needed to say, watch what's happening. We may be living in the golden years of the school. Wow. They kind of went, yeah, whatever. So 2015, we got this 4.01, and I laughed about it because you know the way the scale works. 1 to 5 is the possible range of results, and any school or organization that gets above a 4.0 is qualified as a best Christian workplace. And I think Elaine might have said back then we were the bad Christian workplace, and now it's the same thing. But anyway, best Christian workplace is 4.0 and higher. And I sent a note to Al Lopez, who is the president of Best Christian Workplace, to say, thank you. I think you maybe kicked the ball a little closer to the hole for us and helped nudge it over 4.0 so that we could be qualified. Because I know Al had been cheering for us and been hoping and wanting this to work, this turnaround experiment that we were working on. And he's, oh, no, Mark. I wouldn't cheat. I wouldn't do that. Well, anyway, thank you, Al. I'm glad that we're in it. 2018, we scored 4.28, which, from what I understand, is now the best score that they had seen at BCWI from like organizations. That's not all organizations. They survey about, I think it's 900 or 1,000 organizations a year, and about 90 of them are colleges and universities, schools that they would put us into a group and compare us with. So now we had gone from the low end of the range to the high end of the range. In the last 3 years, since that 4.28, we focused in on a few words each year. One is gratitude, expressing our appreciation to each other and to God for what He's done here among us. And then expectancy, looking for God to do great things among us. And then this year we've picked up the word diligence, that we would do with diligence what we're doing and stay the course. We are in a marathon race now. It's not the turnaround sprint at the beginning, or it's not all these different things. Now we're into this longevity, sustainability part. And each of you know the last year with COVID here has added work level and stress level to each of our lives. And we've all been trying to figure out how to redo or new do what we have done. And through it, we now have a school that has 4 channels of delivery. One is in person on campus, and the other is HighFlex, attending the same classes. You might say cohort online attendance. And then you know that we've got our online attendance, and online attendance is this asynchronous. They travel at their own pace and own place. So I'd like to think that there's someone out there who's binge watching their degree and going to get it done in 2 years instead of 4. And then the 4th channel is our prisons. And even during COVID, Gord, with his team and God's help, and I could reverse that entire order, God with Gord and his team, but has opened up 2 more prisons for us. So we're now going from 2 to probably 4. I would guess within the next 6 months we'll be open and operating in 4 prisons. So our attendance there is also going up. Online attendance, to go back one, the asynchronous is up year to date in revenue 52%. Good, right? Be encouraged. And so then we fill out this COVID era BCWI, and the question is, how did we do? I can't take any longer, can I? Now, here's the way it works. We've got this trophy of lint balls, and that's not fuzzy dust balls. That's chocolate balls. And I love chocolate, so here we go with lint balls. And what we did was we took our score times 100 and bought that many lint balls and built this thing. Now, the trophy itself, the structure, we stole from the Tilly. So the bowls and vases and all that we used to build it aren't yours. But whoever gets closest to the score will get the trophy. -1 for each person in the room right now. But it'll still be a lot. And if there are 2 winners, then you'll split it equally, whatever's left over after everybody gets one. And so the countdown, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Should I give the number and then tell who was third, second, and first? Or should I give the countdown and say who's? Yes. Do the numbers, because we've done so much work on this thing. So the first number is 4. And the second number is 3. So last one was 428, now it's 43. And the third number is 8. So since nobody guessed the right number, I get them all. No. There were some people who scored that were close. And everybody who gave me their number, I said, ooh, close. But let's see. Connie Nyman and Cheryl Macklem were 3 away. Not the closest. Alex Schlick and Carmen Imes, Kristen Williams, and James Enns. 4 people. Imagine dividing that thing 4 ways. We're 2 away. Not the closest. Douglas Lewis, Dennis Baptista, and Al Mertes were 1 away. Imagine dividing that 3 ways. Not the closest. One person who is not here, so he doesn't get it, Calvin Hildebrand, guessed 4.38. Give it up for Calvin. The only thing I want to add is COVID is extra stressful. It is a lot of extra work, and I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you. And don't forget to be sure to take your breaks. Rest, get it, do your Sabbath, whatever that looks like for you. Do your vacations, take your breaks that you need. If your normal vacation is traveling internationally, plan it really well. But if don't not go away if that's what you need to be doing it, so that you're refreshed and able to get into the race for the next lap that we're going to be doing. Anyway, thank you all. Let's have a party.